Welcome back. I am so incredibly excited to have you here today for this explainer. We are taking a guided tour through what is truly a fascinating roadmap of the human mind, and that is Saylor University's Psych 101 course. Whether you're a professional looking to sharpen your soft skills, a student maybe contemplating a brand new major, or honestly just someone who is inherently curious about why people do the things they do, you are in exactly the right place. We are going to break down what this course offers, how it's structured, and why it is such an incredibly valuable way to spend your free time.
So, do you want to understand human behavior? It's the ultimate puzzle, isn't it? Every single day, we navigate these incredibly complex social webs. We manage our own constantly shifting emotions, and we try to decode the actions of the people around us. And let's be real, often it feels like everyone is just operating without a manual. But what if there was a way to systematically break down all that complexity? What if you could actually peer under the hood of the human mind and understand the specific gears driving our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions? Well, that is exactly the promise of the material we are unpacking today.
And honestly, the absolute best part, it all starts right at the very beginning. 101. That number should be hugely reassuring. It means this course serves as your highly accessible starting line for a deep dive into psychology. You don't need a background in neuroscience, you don't need to have read Freud, and frankly, sometimes it's actually better if you haven't yet, and you certainly don't need a lab coat. You literally just need an open mind and a willingness to learn. This 101 designation guarantees that the complex science of the mind is going to be translated into clear, fundamental principles that absolutely anyone can grasp.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our syllabus for today's explainer. First, we'll look at the Psychology 101 opportunity. Second, we'll cover history and methodologies. Third, we'll explore the core subjects. And finally, we'll wrap up by breaking down the course logistics and rewards.
Starting right off with Section 1, the Psychology 101 opportunity, your gateway to the mind.
It's really fascinating how the Saylor University syllabus defines the exact parameters of this course. Introduction to Psychology is explicitly framed as an overview of the field's development as an academic discipline, along with the principal methodologies deployed in its study. And that distinction is absolutely vital. This course doesn't just hand you a list of fun psychology facts to memorize and repeat at a dinner party. Instead, it equips you with the exact tools necessary to study the field yourself. It literally teaches you how to think like a psychologist. You're getting the overarching blueprint of how this entire discipline was constructed, which empowers you to critically analyze human behavior long after the coursework is done.
That brings us to Section 2, History and Research Methodologies, Building the Foundation.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because the syllabus is incredibly intentional in its narrative trajectory. Step 1 is the overview of psychology's development. You really have to know where we've been to understand where we are. Tracing how psychology evolved from early philosophical ponderings into a rigorous, data-driven academic discipline shows us the trial and error of the field, and understanding that history actually prevents us from repeating past psychological missteps. Then you step right into Step 2, reviewing principal methodologies. This is where you get your toolkit. You'll learn exactly how modern psychologists conduct research, design robust experiments, and analyze data without falling prey to things like confirmation bias. By putting the history first and the methodology second, the course ensures that before you ever look at a modern psychological theory, you understand exactly how that theory was built, tested, and proven.
Moving right along to Section 3, 4 major core subjects, exploring the mind.
And this brilliantly illustrates where we get to the real meat of the course material. You are going to apply those new methodological tools to 4 major pillars: emotion, development, memory, and psychopathology. You won't just learn that we feel, but how we actually process those feelings chemically and cognitively. With development, you'll trace the completely fascinating timeline of how our brains grow and change over our entire lifespans. Why a toddler acts like a tiny dictator, and how the teenage brain is essentially under massive chaotic construction. In the memory module, you'll discover how we encode, store, and retrieve information, and hey, maybe even learn a few real cognitive tricks to stop forgetting where you put your keys. Finally, psychopathology explores how the mind behaves when things go awry, completely demystifying mental health conditions through a clear clinical lens. And crucially, the syllabus specifically grounds all of this in well-substantiated research and current trends. You aren't learning outdated pseudoscience here, you are focusing purely on the rigorous, modern, and verified science of the mind.
Let's transition to our final section, course logistics and rewards, your investment and payoff.
46. That is the exact number of hours Saylor University estimates it's going to take to complete this syllabus. Now, I really don't want you to view this as a chore. I want you to view this dynamically as an exciting and rigorous milestone.
46 hours is a substantial, meaningful commitment. It proves that this isn't just some brief internet article you skim on your lunch break. No, this is the equivalent of a full college semester's worth of learning packed into a highly accessible, self-paced format. Dedicating 46 hours to your own intellectual growth is a massive achievement, and it absolutely sets the stage for real, retained understanding. But you aren't just walking away with knowledge floating around in your head. Upon completing those 46 hours, you actually earn 4.6 continuing education units, or CEUs. This keeps the momentum incredibly high because it means your time translates directly into professional development value. Whether you're adding this to a resume, updating your LinkedIn profile, or presenting it to an employer to demonstrate your commitment to continuous learning, these CEUs provide tangible, industry-recognized proof of your hard work. And here is the absolute kicker. This 46-hour investment culminates in a free certificate and is formally recommended for college credit. Just think about the magnitude of that for a second. We are talking about an elite, structured curriculum that hands you the tools to understand human behavior, grounds you in rigorous academic methodology, grants you professional CEUs, and wraps the whole shebang up with a free certificate and potential college credit. It completely democratizes access to high-level academic achievement, entirely removing the financial barriers that usually stand in the way of this kind of rigorous education. Which leads us with one final, essential question. Are you ready to dedicate 46 hours to unlocking the science of the human mind? You now know the structure, you know the fascinating depth of the core subjects, and you know the incredible rewards waiting for you right at the finish line. The opportunity to transform how you view yourself and the intricate world around you is right there. It's completely free, and it is waiting for you to begin. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly, highly encourage you to take that very first step into Psychology 101.